Hi, VanScoter here, owner of VanScoter Insurance Agency. Thanks for checking out my video blog. Now, typically I usually save these blogs for pretty neutral topics, usually something along the lines of how to save on your insurance, or I talk about various insurance coverages to make sure that you're protected properly. Well, recently I was reading an article in the Insurance Journal magazine here. It's the January issue of 2013, and there was a representative from Massachusetts, a David Linsky, who is sponsoring a bill requiring gun owners to purchase liability insurance for their guns. And kind of his rationale is that, if there is liability insurance, that if someone is injured or killed from a weapon, they will have some sort of recourse to go back on and basically collect some sort of compensation from the gun owner to help compensate them for their injury or their loss. And he also believes that the insurance marketplace might do a better job at help reducing the risk of violent acts that we've seen recently by basically incentivizing people to take safety courses for the guns, make sure they're properly stored. So if you do those type of things, that your insurance rates will come down, so it'll basically give people an incentive to do those things. Now, he references how basically that works for smoking and for making cars safer. Now, I think that might be a little bit of a stretch. Yes, if you are a smoker, you do pay more for life insurance, but I don't know if that was really the incentive that reduced the amount of people from smoking. I think mostly smoking has reduced just because, at least here in New York, it's really difficult to do. You can't smoke any place, and the taxes that they impose on the cigarettes here really make it, financially difficult for a lot of people just to afford to smoke. So I think that's brought most of the smoking down. And then for making cars safer, yes, if you drive a safer car, you do get cheaper insurance rates. But nowadays, all these cars are pretty much chock full. A lot of the most of the same safety features. So I think a lot of that incentive has gone away, and I think most of it is most of the safety features have been mandated by the government, saying that they want to issue these safety features. That every car has airbags now, it's side curtain airbags. It's safety belts, it's anti-lock brakes. So I think the government has really imposed most of those safety standards on the car industry, not necessarily the auto insurance companies. So I just have to lay it out here. I personally don't think that gun insurance is the answer to reducing violence. Now, I know that probably sounds strange because I'm obviously someone who could benefit if there was gun insurance policies, because I would most likely be the person that you would buy a gun insurance policy for. So I'd have a financial incentive to say, hey, yes, let's get those gun insurance policies in place, but I just don't believe it's the way to go. So I don't know, what David Linsky thinks that insurance policy is going to cover, but anyone who's read an insurance policy knows that they all exclude intentional acts. So even if I went out and had a gun and you shot somebody intentionally, your policy is most likely going to exclude it because it was an intentional act. You went out, you knew what the consequence was going to be, you shot at the person with the intent to kill, and you killed them. They're going to say, oh, it wasn't an accident. So now what an insurance policy might do is made for the accidental shooting. Say if you're hunting with Dick Cheney, maybe, and you accidentally get caught in a line of fire, and it was truly an accident. Maybe an insurance policy would respond there, but insurance companies aren't just going to open up their wallet that easily. Most likely any accidental shooting is going to be dragged out in court, where the insurance company presents their case stating why you are partially or maybe even fully responsible for being shot. So they're going to basically say, why were you standing where you were? You pretty much knew where you were standing. You had the potential of getting shot. So it's going to be very difficult. So I don't know if there's going to be that great of a benefit for having liability insurance out there. So and also you can see from the recent tragedies in Newtown, Connecticut, and the West Webster Fire Department, the shooters there, they didn't own the guns themselves, so they wouldn't have a liability policy. In Newtown, Connecticut, the shooter, it was his mother's guns that he used. So even though he was in the household, most likely, the mother would state that the guns were stolen. He didn't have permission to use them. So most likely an insurance policy wouldn't respond for that. The one nice thing would be if you did have an insurance policy for a gun, most likely the gun, the insurance companies would make sure that the entire household passes underwriting. So they wouldn't just look at the person who owns a gun, but they'd probably look at everyone living in that household, kind of like auto insurance companies do when someone calls for an auto quote. Even though someone's not related to you, but if you're living with them and they have a bad driving record, that can really affect you and whether you can get auto insurance coverage or not. So, and then with the West Webster Fire Department, the shooter, had actually had a friend purchase the guns for him. Now, if the friend who had purchased the guns had a liability policy, most likely that policy wouldn't respond either, because the insurance company would probably state that they materially misrepresented the facts on the insurance policy, that they would never issued her insurance policy if they knew that she was buying the gun for somebody else, and that person wasn't a listed insured on their policy. So most likely they would deny that claim, saying that it was a material misrepresentation, that basically she committed fraud. It's kind of like if you applied for life insurance and you said, hey, I'm perfectly healthy, but you know that you have a heart condition, and a year later you pass away because of that heart condition, and the insurance company does their homework and they find out that you knew about the heart condition beforehand and you lied about it on the application, they're not going to pay you out your life insurance benefit. So it's kind of as simple as that. So now, I'm not exactly sure what the answer is to reduce the violence, whether it's stricter gun control measures, mental health screenings, or liability insurance for guns. Regardless of what restrictions we put in place, evil people are going to find a way to do horrific acts. We just need to find a way to make it more difficult for them to do it, or to stop them before it happens. So that's pretty much what it boils down to. I'd be interested in hearing your comments if you think that liability insurance would help reduce the violence due to guns. So post your comments below. I'd definitely be interested to see what people's take is on this situation. Especially, I'm coming from, in the insurance industry, and I don't believe it's the answer. I'd be interested to get other people's perspective who are outside the industry, who might have a different view than mine. And then, as always, if you'd like us to provide you with a free, no-obligation insurance quote on your auto, home, or small business insurance, give me a call at the number below. I'd be happy to help you out. And remember, VanScoter Insurance Agency, don't be fooled by the name. We insure more than vans and scooters.